this is a spicy one, folks, because I have to ask some questions.
Okay.
I know this is going to be a hot take. I know some people are going to be upset about it, but let 89 roll the dice and go ahead and hit that 7 like I was in college. Ooh. I had someone tell me that Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback. And I go, who? And I said, I reserve. And I said, and watching a game, when I see a team below 100 yards, and I start asking all the questions, is Jalen Hurts comparable to how Russell Wilson was with the Seattle Seahawks?
Whoa. Now, see, I know, again, no idea where we were going with this. Steve said, hit record. I got something I got to ask you.
Yes,
so I had no clue.
This is a question. No, this is not a statement.
I know, but the reason I'm setting it up like that is this is one of top 3, you think, Steve? Top 2 most debated players in football right now.
Thank you. I thought you were about to say quarterback. I was about to lose my shirt.
People have such firm beliefs over here or over here on Jalen Hurts.
That is correct.
9 times out of 10, there's no convincing them otherwise.
Yes.
They either think he's completely overrated and an unbelievable team is carrying him, or the other side says he is so underrated. Winning is the most important thing. It's a quarterback stat. Why are you not equating that more frequently?
Which is true.
Which is true.
So before you answer,
what you said, I've never heard though.
Why?
I just hadn't, and it's a great question, because there was an aspect of the way Russ played or the way Russ was coached, which in my personal opinion, I have said this, I think what's happened to Russell Wilson since he left Seattle is a huge feather in the cap for Pete Carroll and his chances of getting into the Hall of Fame. I think he did a great job with the way they coached Russell Wilson.
Break down how they coach Russell Wilson.
If you talk to anybody there, it wasn't what they knew Russ could do. They knew what Russ couldn't do.
Which is?
Well, see the field was part of it. And it was easy reads. It was his athletic ability was leaned on.
Easy? Break down an easy read for me as an insider that are talking to coaches, not goofballs like me sitting on this nice.
You're not a goofball. You know what reads are. You're part of the passing game.
I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm looking at the comments, and keep the comments coming. I'm looking at the comments because I really, at this phase of my life, I'm just like, bro, I'm done saying what I know, and now I'm just start
firing what you feel. Throwing grenades. Listen, this is what I think. They made life easy on Russ by the way they ran the football and played defense. Is that not just how Pete Carroll coaches and his philosophy as a head coach?
Doesn't that sound familiar and Phil?
Okay. Certainly does.
I'm again, no dog in the fight. I'm a 40. Listen, through and through, I grew up. I'm a 49ers fan.
I do understand what you're saying because there are some comparisons. They had Russ on the move a lot. He would roll out. Half the field type of reads, make sure you don't turn the football over. There were a number of years, if you remember, Steve, nobody would pay attention to the first half of the season in Seattle because they're up in Seattle, and for some reason, just maybe people outside of the Pacific Northwest are not paying attention. We are an Eastern-driven fan base in the NFL by a lot of people's metrics. By midseason, it was like, shouldn't Russ be in the MVP conversation? Remember when that was happening, like year after year? And then it would kind of like fade away a little bit, and he would get no love for the MVP, and even though he was playing pretty well. I think you're right. I think Jalen Hurts is getting a little bit of that treatment because the roster is so good. The stats are not oftentimes very gaudy.
So let's break that. Let's talk about that because
I have a firm stance on this. I want to make a big point. So let's go.
So like with Jalen Hurts, when I see and watch him play, he's a hell of a football player. Let's just straight up, let's call it what it is. However, when I watch his game, I'm not sitting there convinced that he can march down the field 80 yards with 30 seconds left on the clock and do something pretty darn amazing in the pocket.
Okay. I mean, I think it's debatable now. I think it's grown.
Right. Okay.
I think he's grown. I mean, he was like the sixth best quarterback in the NFL against the blitz. These are off the top of the head, by the way. I didn't even know we were doing that.
And that's fantastic. And I'm not. So I'm asking, as a top 10 quarterback, or some Philly fans, a top 5 quarterback, what category is he a top 5 quarterback in? If you're talking about wins and Super Bowls, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You go, okay, air quotes, he won a Super Bowl, Lamar Jackson hasn't. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Agreed.
However, I can't say with a straight face that Jalen Hurts makes A.J. Brown better. The last time I checked, they traded for A.J. Brown to improve the passing game.
True.
I cannot say that Jalen Hurts makes Saquon Barkley a better player. They brought Saquon Barkley to take the load off. And just from playing football a smidge, if you are the guy, you don't have a problem carrying the load. Mm-hmm. You actually say, give me more. And my folks have told me down in Philly when Kellen Moore was offensive coordinator that there were things he wanted to do that he couldn't because of the inability of Jalen Hurts in the pass game.
Those are facts. Was I one of those people that told you that? Because I heard that too about Kellen. There was that argument last year.
I'm not going to tell my source, but yeah, it was.
Because there were, if you remember when Kellen took over last year, it was, whoa, I thought we brought in Kellen Moore. It's supposed to be different. Why does this look exactly the same? It looked exactly the same because Kellen figured out very quickly what Jalen couldn't do and Jalen could do. And he went back to what Jalen can do. I think the crux of the argument is Philly is built differently and he plays the position differently. And people have a hard time wrapping their head around that. I think that's part of it. And I think it's okay to play the position differently. I think we're very narrow-minded in evaluating the quarterback position as a whole. No, I love this because I love that you brought up Lamar. One of my biggest issues in our league right now is the criticism that Lamar Jackson gets. Because all we say every offseason, which he could have won his 3rd MVP this year, if he, he was 2nd behind Josh Allen, and he put up numbers that were very worthy of the MVP, right? But all offseason it was this. He can't win a Super Bowl. He can't get over the hump. He's gotten the title game once.
Because it's all his fault.
It's all his fault, right?
Yep.
So if we're going to hold that against Lamar Jackson, that he can't win the big game, that is a blemish on his legacy.
How and unfactual.
Are we not? Yeah, I think it's unfactual because how are we not?
I so too agree that is unfactual.
So how are we not, Steve, giving Jalen Hurts more credit that he does win the big games and wins on the biggest stage? If it's going to hurt Lamar's legacy, why isn't it helping Jalen's? And it's not in people's minds. They still rip him to shreds because they think he can't play. There's only 3 quarterbacks in the history of the NFL that have had multiple Super Bowls of over 275 total yards and 3 touchdowns. It's Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts. That's it. And so I remember standing in Kansas City hosting the 101 Awards that the Hunt family puts on. Has been out there longer than the NFL honors, right? And what's the best players in the NFC, AFC. It was after Jalen outplayed Patrick Mahomes but lost in the Super Bowl, right? In their first meeting. I was on stage with Andy Reid, and Andy Reid pointed into the crowd because Jalen was there accepting the NFC Player of the Year. And Andy Reid pointed at Jalen Hurts and said, "Your performance in the Super Bowl is the best performance I've ever seen in a Super Bowl." From Andy Reid. And so...
And Big Red does not sugarcoat
he does not. He does not. And by the way, compliments to Jalen Hurts showing up in Kansas City to get his award right after he lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. He kind of walked in there, head held high, had his fiance, just, I'll take my award. I know I played well. And he played great. So he is one of the most debatable players in our league for sure. But when I look at some of the stuff that he does, like wins are a quarterback stat.
Yeah,
right?
They should be.
They should be. And if wins didn't matter, Joe Burrow would have been the MVP last year.
Facts.
Because, right? So, like, if he wins, what's wrong with winning?
That brings that first person I think of.
They're changing the rules because of Jalen Hurts.
Hold on, Matthew Stafford.
Yes.
Matthew Stafford was putting up
Bonkers
great numbers.
Yes.
Oh, bananas.
Yep.
Right? Him and Megatron, Roy Williams.
Yeah.
Right? But he was in Detroit. They weren't winning.
Mm-hmm. And it hurt him. It hurts his legacy.
Yes,
so why can't all the winning help Jalen's? I don't understand.
And so I'm not. The thing is, as a receiver, it may come off whatever it's come off. Hey, leave it in comments how it's coming off. I do scratch my head a lot about football when fans give their opinion based on how something looks versus how it actually transpired.
Yep.
And so that's why I phrase that. And you're a Philly guy. You've covered that team. You do a great job.
I know a lot of people in that building.
And you know a lot of things in that building. And so I wanted to ask because I really thought it was important. I just needed to know.
And my last point on it, Steve, which is why it's a good comparison, but they're also completely different in Russ and Jalen Hurts because of one main factor, and that was I've covered Russ a lot. Mm-hmm. He was here in Denver with me. I've covered Jalen a lot, and I know a lot of people in that Eagles building. The main difference between the two of them, Jalen knows exactly what he can't do. Russ does not understand what he can't do. I'm serious.
You dead ass serious.
Right. When he came to Denver, it was, I want to be Drew Brees. I want to sit back there and pick defenses apart, and I'm going to change things at the line of scrimmage. I'm going to do this. That's just not him as a player. That's just not him as a quarterback.
He couldn't even regurgitate the plays.
He couldn't get the play out of his mouth. Like, I had people on the coaching staff in Denver telling me, like, this is a struggle, man. Like, and then with Jalen, this is where, and I know this is blasphemy to say this, but this is where Jalen, in my opinion, is compared to Brady. He will come in at the beginning of the week and say, what do I need to do for us to win? Is it hand the ball off 30 times? Cool. Brady used to do that. There were years where Brady was like, our defense is dope. We can run the ball. I don't need to throw for 5,000 yards. Now, Brady, on the other hand, when in the years he had it, let's go to Randy Moss. Let's go all over the field. He could still throw it everywhere. Yeah. But the way the two of them are wired are, how do we win? Period. And I know I can't do this and this, but I know I can do this. How do I help us to win? I think that should be...
That's all.
A compliment to Jalen Hurts.
Man, me hearing that and playing in the National Football League and going to Pro Bowls and interacting with a lot of different quarterbacks, that is a rare quality.
You know who needed their stats?
Who?
Peyton Manning needed stats. I'm not going to lie. Like, I want to win, not to say he doesn't want to win as much as Brady, but I think our best chance to win is me throwing it. Now, of course, that's probably a pretty good guess for Peyton. Like, if I'm throwing it and running things, we'll probably have a very good chance to win. But Tom was always wired a little bit differently, and I think Jalen's that as well. And I don't think Jalen's had a different offensive coordinator every single year of his life.
Yep. And it's not his fault.
And so I think there's a part of it to that. But are there limitations to his game? Yeah, I think we all know that, but I think Jalen knows that too. And I think that actually is very valuable in how he plays. I do.
So you hear the conclusion, folks.
Okay.
Yes, Steve Smith Sr. is a hater, and James Palmer is a buttering the bread type of guy on the Philadelphia Eagles, and we came to that. I'm joking. Relax. Stop playing victim, okay?
I was victim. I was playing the game right there. I was.
But this was a great conversation.
A player.
I love. I'm gonna keep doing this where I just have questions I want to throw out because I literally, man, and I'm going,
Yeah. Hey, right now, it doesn't mean there's no concern in that building right now about the passing game. There's a concern right now about the passing game, for sure. But they are 2-0.
Lot of book reading.
Hey, that was a good episode last year if anybody wants to watch
bro,
it. That was a great episode, man. You were on fire in that episode. When I was at that game with AJ Reading.
Well, hey, I appreciate the insight. that is kind of our question.
That's a
Who do you
bonus.
think? Tell us what you think. Drop your comments in there. Say what you're going to say. Keep us in the algorithm. As you know, I'll let you...
Algorithm. Hashtag algorithm.
I grew up 49ers fan. Ricky Waters, Roger Craig, Joe Montana, Steve Young. Got a Steve Young jersey.
Ricky Waters.
John Taylor, right? Like, so Charles Haley when he was with the 49ers.
Yeah.
Hank McDonald, right? With the herky jerky, right? All of those things. So Tom Rathman.
Wait, you had all these jerseys?
No.
Oh, okay.
These are just the guys I remember. The one jersey that I did have when I was a little kid in high school, and I put the elastic with a sewing needle. Little fun fact, I know how to sew. Put the sewing needle through, trimmed it up, and it used to have the elastic.
So it looked
legit. And it was J.J. Stokes.
Really? That wasn't
because he was at UCLA.
Yeah.
Growing up. UCLA,
right
USC. J.J.
Right
Stokes, Keyshawn Johnson.
Dang. You reminded me of those old Hutch things you could buy at the store. Remember that? Hutch came out with, it was a jersey, shoulder pads, and helmet just combined.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? And you could get Randall Cunningham or whoever it was.
Oh, bro. Hey, there's a few concussions right now, kids. Adults still
6 were paper thin. Your head just rattled around inside the plastic.
With the one strap.
Everybody was a kicker wearing those things. It was fantastic. Those things were great.